Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm finally getting around to filming my first trimester update for you guys. It's a little late, I'm 15 weeks now, but I'm not too far off, so I still want to film this and get it up for you guys so you guys can see how my first trimester went. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. And if you guys aren't subscribed already and you guys want to follow along with my twin pregnancy journey, make sure to head on down there and subscribe. And with that being said, let's get into the video. So I have all my notes written down in my notebook. I'm going to kind of go through in like clusters of weeks and just explain to you guys how I was feeling during those weeks. I will go into the doctor's appointments I had, my 12-week appointment, my test results for that, and then towards the end I will wrap up with like how I overall felt in my first trimester, cravings I've been having, and the prenatals and that kind of stuff that I've been taking. So let's just jump right into it. So if you guys saw my announcement video, you would know that I don't know exactly when I found out I was pregnant. I thought I was so far along, and then when I went they told me I was a lot earlier than I was. So I think I found out that I was pregnant around 5 weeks, and before that, like I mentioned in that video, I really didn't think I was pregnant. I didn't really have any crazy pregnancy symptoms other than a missed period. The two things that I've written down for week 5 and week 6 are just that I had really sore boobs, which wasn't totally out of the ordinary for me. My boobs did get sore around the time that I would get my period, so that wasn't totally out of the ordinary. And that I was having some breakouts. I remember during this time I had a whole bunch of texture on my forehead. It was a whole bunch of like little bumps, and then I had a few larger breakouts around my face. And for the most part I have really clear skin. It never really acts up. I get maybe a pimple or two every month or so. So it was a little odd that my face was breaking out. I just thought I was wearing makeup more. It was hot, it was summer. Maybe I needed to like wash my face. So those were the only symptoms that I had. And then like I said, I had my pregnancy confirmed at 5 weeks, and then a week later at 6 weeks is when we found out it was twins. So that's the first few weeks of my first trimester. And then I have for weeks 7 and 8, this is when the extreme hunger began. I remember really early on I was always hungry. I had to be eating like every hour, hour and a half, a pretty decent sized snack or small meal to keep myself satisfied. I was hungry all day, every day. And so I remember weeks 7 and 8, that was like the first week or so that I was down in Florida, and we had to go grocery shopping like every few days. Like I was going through food so quickly. I was so hungry. I would have like 2 breakfasts, then a snack, 2 lunches, then a snack, dinner, and after dinner snack, and then like dessert. Like I was eating so much throughout the day. So that was definitely a new symptom for me. And around weeks 7 and 8, that's when the fatigue really set in. Now, I normally went to bed around 11 o'clock. Harris would always go to bed around 10 o'clock, and I would say, why can't you stay up? Why can't you hang out with me? Like, you go to sleep so early. Well, I started to go to sleep around 10 o'clock, and some nights it was as early as 9:30, 9:20. I went to bed at 9 o'clock once. So the fatigue and the exhaustion really hit kind of quickly and hard. But since I was going to sleep so early, I was up at like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was like ready to get my day started. And now that like I've been going to bed around 10 o'clock, sometimes even earlier, I've kind of just gotten in the routine of going to bed that early and just going to bed when Harris goes to bed and waking up early. And I really don't mind. I've always been more of a morning person, but some nights it definitely was a struggle for me to stay up even till 10 o'clock, and I would like lay in bed with my mom and we would watch TV, and I would struggle to stay awake till 10 o'clock. And then another one of the symptoms that I had around week 7 and 8 were that I had mild cramping. I remember I was at the grocery store with my mom, and I think just from being on my feet and the heat and walking around, I was very crampy in my lower stomach, and this kind of carried on for a few weeks. I just think it was like growing pains and my body getting used to them being in there. It wasn't anything horrible, and it wasn't super painful. It was just really quick little twinges or cramps in my lower abdomen. And I still get that sometimes if I walk around too much, or if I didn't drink enough water, or if it's hot outside. So just some mild cramping began around weeks 7 and 8. And then I have for weeks 9 and 10, this is when the bloating began. So normally I'm the type of person that would suck in and kind of flatten my stomach if I was just like standing like anywhere. Like I was just the type of person that always tensed my stomach. And around weeks 9 and 10, I could no longer tense my stomach. I remember I was in a bathing suit and I just couldn't tense my stomach up to make it look flat. I'm just the type of person that always kept my core tense. And around weeks 9 and 10, I could no longer tense my stomach up, keep my core flat, like suck in, nothing like that. And so the bloating began, the discomfort began. A lot of my jeans are high-waisted and they were like small to begin with. So around weeks 9 and 10, my jeans started not fitting, and my like extra small pairs of leggings and biker shorts and that kind of stuff really got uncomfortable for me to wear. So I have the bloating began and the belly kind of began, because after that it never stopped. I just think it went from bloat to baby. So around week 9 and 10 is when the bloating really began, and around this time is also when I began having like a really bad taste in my mouth. After I ate anything, I had a meal, I had a snack, I had anything, I had the worst taste in my mouth, and I would always have to chew gum. So my favorite gum is the Mentos Pure Fresh in Fresh Mint. This is the kind of gum that is super minty when you first put it in your mouth, so it does a really good job at like clearing out that bad taste, and it doesn't last that long, like maybe 20 minutes max, and then you need a new piece. But a lot of the times I just throw a piece in to take the bad taste out of my mouth, and then I'm done. So I definitely really like this gum, and it has helped a lot. It was bad. I was literally chewing like 6 or 7 pieces a day. Now not so much. The bad taste isn't really around that much. But I remember during this time, I just would feel so sick to my stomach because I had such a bad taste in my mouth. And then I have nothing for week 11. I guess nothing really changed. I remember week 11 was the week that I flew home from Florida, and it was pretty basic and kind of the same as 9 and 10. And then the week after I flew home from Florida, I had my 12-week doctor's appointment, and this is when they do a sonogram and some blood work to first look at the neural tubes. That's what the sonogram is for. And then the blood work, I got 2 different kinds of screening done. I got like my chromosome screening done, where they check for Down syndrome, trisomy 13 and 18, I think, and for the sex chromosomes. And then I also got another screening done where they check to see if I'm a carrier for a number of different genetic disorders. I think I got tested for 20 different ones, because since Harris is an Ashkenazi Jew, a lot of the times they're carriers for a lot of these things. So I got checked just to see, and if I was a carrier for something, then Harris was going to get checked, and just to make sure. But everything came back perfectly normal. I'm not a carrier for any of the number of things that they checked me for. Trisomy 18, 21, 13, that all came back perfectly normal. And as for the sex chromosomes, they can't really tell when you're pregnant with twins. It's kind of complicated, and so I'm not finding out the sex of the twins until my 20-week anatomy scan, which I have the appointment the first week in October. So for now, we don't know the sex of the twins. We're kind of like really antsy to figure it out, but we have to wait until the first week in October, which is completely fine. Another thing that I did get Harris tested for, just kind of for like peace of mind, was Zika. He was in Colombia about a month before we conceived, so I kind of just wanted to be safe that he didn't contract Zika. I know there aren't really any active cases right now of Zika, but I just wanted to get him checked, and everything came back normal with that as well. So that's an overview of the weeks of my first trimester, and to be completely honest, I had a really blissful, easy first trimester. I did not feel nauseous. I did not have morning sickness. The only time I did feel nauseous was if I was very, very hungry, which I think is the case just for normal people. If you're so hungry that you have that super empty feeling in your stomach, you're going to get a little nauseous. So no morning sickness, no nausea. I really had an easy, blissful first trimester. I did gain around 10 pounds in my first trimester. I remember when I went to the doctors around like 6-ish, 7-ish weeks, when they confirmed it was twins, they weighed me. So my start weight was 122 pounds, and my doctor felt like that was a little underweight. He wanted to make sure that I was going to be able to gain weight in like a timely fashion and gain enough weight to be able to carry the twins. So he really wanted me to gain quite a bit of weight while I was down in Florida. And I remember the first few weeks were tough. I kind of was getting discouraged that I wasn't gaining weight. I gained maybe like a pound or 2 here or there, But once I hit the 5-pound mark, I really was able to gain weight a lot quicker. And so I gained around 10 pounds in my first trimester, and my doctor was super happy with that. He was like, that's perfectly fine. I can see that you're gaining weight and you don't have to take any supplements or anything like that, because he was going to make me take like protein, like drink protein shakes and that kind of stuff. But I'm gaining weight perfectly fine. And then as for cravings, so one of my first cravings I had around like 6 weeks was a McDonald's hash brown. They just sounded so good. So I remember before I left for Florida, so it had to be like around like 6 weeks, Harris and I went and I got 2 McDonald's hash browns, and they were delicious. And I was also craving a tomato, like a large tomato cut up with salt. That sounded so good. And then when I was down in Florida, a lot of the times I was eating pierogies, like cheese and potato pierogies, just the ones that like you buy and you keep in your freezer and you make on the stove. They were so good. And I really enjoyed like plantain chips and salsa. So overall, my first trimester, I've been craving such salty things. Even now into my second trimester, I don't really crave like sweet things. A lot of the times it's just like salty, savory things. And then as for the prenatals that I'm taking, I just take like over-the-counter prenatals. I know I could probably get prescription prenatals for cheap because of my health insurance, but I just get over-the-counter ones, and the ones I take are the Nature Made Prenatal Multi Plus DHA, and then they do have me taking in an extra folic acid, so I take one of these and one of these in the morning. A lot of the times I wake up and I have my breakfast, I drink like half of a water bottle or like a large glass of water, and then I take my prenatals and I don't get sick from them. I know some people get nauseous from their prenatals, but I never did, so thankful for that I never did. And I take these every single day, every morning after breakfast, and I'm doing just great. So that's just like an overview of my first trimester. I know it's nothing crazy. I'm very, very, very thankful that I had a very, very easy first trimester. If you know me, throwing up is literally like my worst fear ever. So the fact that I did not feel the slightest bit of nausea or morning sickness, I'm really thankful and grateful for, especially since I'm having twins. I feel like I have so much more hormones, and that there's 2 in there. I just expected that I would feel more sick, but I had a really good first trimester. I say to people all the time, like, if I didn't miss my period, like if I was the type of person that did not get my period all the time and I didn't miss my period, I wouldn't know I was pregnant for the first few weeks, because I felt normal. Like I felt tired, but I would have been like, oh, I'm traveling or I'm getting sick, and I would have been breaking out, and like I said, I would have been like, oh, I need to wash my face. Like I really wouldn't have known if I didn't take a test when I did. So I'm thankful that I did, and I'm thankful that I had a really easy first trimester. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I will be doing a second trimester update and a third trimester update, but before my second trimester update, I will be doing like a 20-week halfway mark, and I'll share with you guys the gender around them, which I'm super excited for. So stay tuned for all that kind of stuff. If you guys have any pregnancy related videos you want to see from me, leave those down below. I do want to film like a products I've bought thus far video for my pregnancy. I have a bunch of maternity clothes that just came in. I have like products I use for my stomach, for stretch marks. I have like books I bought, a whole bunch of things like that. So I want to film that video and get that up for you guys in the coming weeks. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Like I said, if you have not subscribed already, head on down there and subscribe to follow along with my twin pregnancy journey. And with that being said, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.